This is CEM with Golden Butter Sports, and I'm here to let that butter spread. And I want to talk about, do you really think the Rangers fans care about your ratings? You heard what I said. Do you really think that the Rangers fans care about your ratings? To MLB and to all these TV networks, the Rangers fans do not care about your ratings. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because while the World Series was going on, and then after the Rangers won the World Series, because they are the World Series champions. So after they won, I heard statements on the internet and on the TV and on the radio that this was one of the lowest rated and lowest viewed World Series of all time. And then I'm wondering to myself, well, what relevancy does that have to the Texas Rangers and the Texas Rangers fans? Because here's a better point. The Texas Rangers are the World Series champions. They are the champions of the baseball world, and they should be respected as such. Do you really think that the Rangers fans care about ratings as opposed to celebrating a world championship for the first time in their history? You really think that they care about that? No. Listen, I'm a casual Rangers fan. And during my little existence, when I became sports conscious, I remember a fella by the name of Doug Rader. I believe he was the uh, the manager of the Rangers. That's when I started really kind of like looking and noticing what that sport was, baseball, and then I noticed that the stadium was not a well put together stadium. It didn't look all that good. It was always hot. And then I remember nobody really wanted to play there. And I remember that those teams back in the day, those days were absolutely terrible, horrible. They wasn't worth a plum nickel. And so I remember watching Rick Honeycutt, Frank Tanana, Dave Stewart. They were actually on the Rangers teams and they couldn't develop them in the Rangers organization. And I seen guys like that go to other teams and be successful. I remember the Larry Parishes, the Jim Sundbergs. I remember those guys. And then I remember the Bobby Valentine era. Y'all remember that? For those of you who are Ranger fans, you remember. The Rangers during the Bobby Valentine days, they probably could have made the playoffs with the new playoff format that they have now. They probably could have made it. I remember when those Bobby Valentine's teams were loaded with the Pete Incavillas and the Ruben Sierras, and then they acquired Julio Franco, and then all of a sudden they acquired Rafael Palmeiro, and then a young guy by the name of Juan Gonzalez came on the scene. And then I remember Pudge Rodriguez, the greatest catcher in Rangers history. I remember those guys. And then I remember how Nolan Ryan was on that team. And then I remember the no-hitters that he threw and the 5,000 strikeouts. I remember it. And how he put Robin Ventura in a headlock and just beat the brakes off of him, just nugget him to death. I loved every bit of that. But I also remember how the Rangers had a knuckleball pitcher by the name of Charlie Huff. I had never seen a knuckleball pitcher ever in my life until I seen Charlie Huff. I'd never seen a baseball just go crazy like that. I remember the Bobby Witts and the Kevin Browns. I remember those. I remember that era. The Dean Palmers in the. Did I say Steve Bouchel? We can't forget Steve Bouchel. I remember these guys, the Kevin Reimers, and I remember those teams. And I remember how they would blow saves when Nolan Ryan would pitch his heart out. And they couldn't hold it. I remember when they had some guy on the team by the name of Jose Guzman with his palm ball. Never heard of that thing before. Never seen that pitch again. But I remember those teams. And I casually kept up with them a little bit. And then that team faded on. And I remember Mark Holtz and Eric Nadel would call those games on the radio. Mark Holtz never, ever got a chance to see the Texas Rangers even sniff the World Series. He never seen it. But Eric Nadel did get a chance to go through all that bad baseball, all that heartache, and then all the way through the 90s, where the Rangers were finally good enough to make the playoffs and never being able to get past the Yankees. And then finally they got past the Yankees when Ron Washington was the manager. And I remember being with my dad when they finally got past the Yankees to go to the World Series. It was one of the best feelings that I ever had. Now, I keep this in mind. I'm just a casual Rangers fan. Football is really my passion. But I kept up with the Rangers because, hey, they're a Texas team. I keep up with Texas teams. That's what I did. And then I remember the heartbreak of 2011. Well, what about 2010? Well, we were just happy to just see them get to the World Series. We were just happy to see them. They forgot that they had to play in the World Series, and they were so happy to be there that they got beat to death by the San Francisco Giants. But we didn't care. They was just happy to be there. I remember them making that mistake of not keeping Nolan Ryan. I remember that. And allowing John Daniels to come down here and stay. Shouldn't have done that. But that 2011, that's the one that was hard to get over. That was hard to get over. Eric Nadel, he couldn't get over it. What David Freese did to the Rangers hurt the Texas Rangers' heart forever. Until the Texas Rangers finally won the World Series. We remember how Nelson Cruz could not catch that ball. We remember. He should have caught it. In most people's opinion, he should have caught it. But he didn't. The Rangers, in fact, that game there where they lost, where they had one strike and one out to go. I don't even remember Game 7. I never watched it. I don't even know what the score is. Right now, while I'm talking to you, I don't even know what the score was. I didn't watch because I knew that they wasn't going to win. It was that heartbreaking. They never overcame that. Then I remember how they choked away in the playoffs against the Toronto Blue Jays. And one of the greatest backflips of all time when Jose Bautista hit that home run and had the greatest backflip I've ever seen. Now, I don't like that dude. I still don't like him. And I'm glad that when he came here, they knocked him upside his head with that baseball. And then when he slid into second base, Rougned Odor knocked him upside his head again. I enjoyed every bit of that. I did. But, like I said, I'm just a casual Rangers fan. That's just some of the things that I saw and just keeping up with them. Well, this past season, the Texas Rangers did something that was unique in all of playoff history. This is the reason why telling me about ratings is irrelevant. Sure, bring up that it was the lowest rated World Series, but it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter to the Texas Rangers fans because what the Texas Rangers actually did, some people never seen the Rangers even win a World Series at all. Some people have died and gone on into eternity, never seen the Rangers do anything. And for those that have survived and looked at all that bad baseball, they finally got to see the Rangers do something. And not only did they do something, They historically did something. This is the reason why ratings are irrelevant. The Texas Rangers did something in the playoffs that probably can never be done again. They won 11 straight road games. Have you ever heard of a team in a series win 11 straight road games? This is after they choked the division lead away, by the way. They did. They had a chance to win the division. And now, in looking back on it, I say forget the division. Who cares about winning the division? Houston. You can keep the division. The Rangers will take the World Series. You don't mind, do you? I don't. Don't mind at all, brother, sister. To the Texas Ranger fans, I'm telling you, you shouldn't care, and I know you don't care about the ratings. Let the MLB and all these other TV networks, let them worry about that. In fact, they shouldn't even be bringing it up at all. To you, TV networks, and to MLB in particular, if you are so worried about ratings, then market your sport better. Not just market the Yankees and all these other teams. Market the whole sport better. That's what you need to do. Because it's irrelevant to fans, and it's irrelevant to the team that won the World Series. It's even irrelevant to the team that went to the World Series and lost. It's irrelevant to them. You don't care anything about your ratings. In fact, if you so worried about ratings, as I said, market your team better, because let's just be honest. Baseball is not the favorite pastime anymore. That belongs to football. And you can debate with me all you want to, but the NFL knows how to market their teams, okay? They know how to market their brand. In baseball, you had to do some serious changes to your sport to market your brand. You know you did. So to get on here and try to talk about ratings is a disrespect to the world champion Texas Rangers. And to you, we say, we don't care about your ratings. The Texas Rangers fans could care less. In fact, you should respect them and give honor to them for what they did, for what they accomplished. They barely made the playoffs, but when they made it, what did they do? They ran through every team that you put out there that had a better record than them. You talking about 95-win team, 100-win team, world champions. They beat them all on their field, 11 straight. Do you actually think that that's ever going to be done again? I don't think so. For them to win 11, where they came from, and to think now, this was a few years ago, 100-loss team a couple years ago, 38 games out of first place a few years ago. And last year they were horrible also. And for them to come out of nowhere, hire Bruce Bochy, get Chris Young in, and to win the World Series the way they did it is historic. This is the reason why Ranger fans do not care about your silly ratings. Now listen, I don't even know who the Rangers owner is. I didn't know him. I really still don't know him. The only reason why I know that Ray Davis is the owner of the Texas Rangers is because the Texas Rangers won the World Series, and they are the baseball champions of the world. And you know what they have to do when the team wins a championship? You realize what they have to do? They have to hoist that trophy up and give it to the owner. That's the only time I need to see him. That's the only time I need to know him. He's already rich. So what more does he need? He needs a championship behind him. So he went out and did his thing. So to Ray Davis, I applaud you. To Chris Young, I applaud you. You did your thing. But to the owner, I didn't know who he was. But congratulations to Ray Davis. Now, if it was all about ratings, now this is a brother of mine who produces the show. He told me if it was all about ratings, then the Cowboys should never win a Super Bowl. Because that's what they all about. You have an owner over there, that's all he's about. He's all about being seen, being heard. When the last time he won a Super Bowl, though? In fact, let's go ahead and say this. When is the last time he won the Super Bowl without Jimmy Johnson's teams being assembled for him? Hmm? Yeah. See, if it's all about ratings, then Jerry Jones got you beat because he's all about ratings. He's not about winning championships. He's not going to change. He's not going to change his style of ownership and how he GMs the team because he wants everybody to see him, hear him. Listen, the brother told me who produces this show. He also said, would you rather be a rich loser and be well known and seen, or would you rather have an owner who's not well known and not seen, who wins championships? Which one would you have? See, it's a lot of rich losers out here. You can be rich, you winning as far as money is concerned, but when you're talking about winning championships, what does your money do for you? What does your ratings do for you? See, the Rangers are the World Series champions. In fact, I don't think that there's a Ranger fan on the planet that would trade high viewership ratings for being a champion. That's what my brother who produces the show, he also said that also. I'm not going to take credit for that. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I had to tell him, hey man, I got to tell you that. See, there's no such thing as a ratings hat. There's no ratings ring. There's no rating merchandise, is it? Say, when the Rangers lost the World Series, did they walk around saying, hey, second place winner? When they lost to St. Louis and when they lost to San Francisco, did they walk around here talking about second place winner? No. In this game, you played to win the game. Herm Edwards said it best. You play to win the game. You don't play to get in second place. There is no such thing as a second place winner. In fact, let me just confuse you even more. There's no such thing as a first place loser. No, it's all about winning. And guess who won? The Texas Rangers won. And they are the baseball champions of the world. And they should be congratulated. Until you Ranger fans celebrate. Because you went through a long drought of seeing bad baseball, hard luck baseball. And now you finally come to the point to where you can say you are world champions. And as Eric Nadel said, it's over. Ranger fans, you are not dreaming. Your team, the Texas Rangers, are the world champions. And to you TV networks, you can keep your ratings. This is CEM, CEM, with Golden Butter Sports, letting that butter spread. And if you want to hear more content from me or from Mark Curious, one of my brothers, tune in to Golden Butter Sports.